Flosstube, and welcome back to another video. It's so lovely to see you all here. It's lovely if you're a new subscriber. Thank you so much for coming along and joining us here. I've had quite a few new subscribers in the last couple of weeks, so that's been really nice to see. I hope you enjoy what you find on this channel. Today there is going to be some Stitchy kindness, there are some giveaway winners, some stitching progress, some future plans, and a big announcement at the end. I say the end, it'll probably start about halfway through. So that's where we're going. Welcome back. If you're not a new subscriber, it's really nice that people keep wanting to hang out. And thank you so much to everybody who took the time to wish me a happy birthday. I really enjoyed, because I think I'd said the sort of keyword for the giveaway was birthday. I really enjoyed how people were finding ways to wish me a happy birthday without saying birthday, because they, like me, don't need any more needle minders. I do have a list of the actual winners, but thank you to everyone who wished me happy birthday here or on Instagram, or sent me things in the post, or gave things to me in person. I felt thoroughly spoiled. I had a lovely couple of days. I had a really nice afternoon tea out with my family, lovely lunch with a friend, dinner with some other friends and my godson, and yeah, I just felt really loved and appreciated, and yeah, it was just a really nice time, and it was just really special to have that birthday while I'm on this period of sabbatical. So, you know, although there are things that I'm doing, there wasn't the sort of pressure of, and also today's a work day. You know, I could just relax and enjoy all of that, which was so lovely. Among the very special things that came on my actual birthday, I got a parcel, which I'm like, I don't know who this is from. I'm not expecting anything. And it was from the lovely Sarah of Sew Me Sarah. And she had sent some chocolate. I think we could just take it for granted that people who gave me chocolate, it was very loved and appreciated, but I may not have it to show on the video. So she sent me some chocolate, but she also sent me this. So this is just lovely. I can't remember what the name of this chart is, but it's from the Blackbird Designs book, In Friendship's Way, which I had sent to her and also to Sally of Flossie Sews and Grows as part of their 50 starts for their 50th birthdays this year. I wanted to send them the same book, so that, because I knew they were planning to do some stitches together and then some that they would do differently. So I thought, well, if I send them the same thing, then that gives them, you know, a range of charts that they know they both already have. And I absolutely wasn't expecting to receive any of that, but look, it's so lovely. And so it says April 1974, which was my birth month. I quite like that she hasn't put my actual date of birth on there. I don't know, yeah. Anyway, and the colours of the charts in the book are really quite muddy. I mean, not just in my estimation of muddy, but like in anyone's estimation of muddy. And when it arrived, I was like, oh gosh, are they going to think that they have to stitch everything in those colours, and that'll be awful. Anyway, Sarah has not stitched it in those colours, and I really love the colours she's chosen, the greens and the pinks, and you know, and the yellow, and I don't know why, I just really love this stripy wing. It's got some eyelets in it. I'd noticed that there was an eyelet in the eye, but there's also little eyelets. I don't know if you can see that here in the wings, and the little strawberries. I don't know if they're strawberries or flowers, actually. I'm going to call them strawberries, they might be. And it's just really lovely. Really, really lovely. I really love the sort of variegated green in the border. And again, I don't know how well you can see that. And she's put a chenille trim on it in red. And then on the back, this beautiful fabric and two little charms, 50, because it's 50 starts for their 50th year, but it's also my 50th birthday, and 2024, and this little handmade with love button that she stitched them on. So it's just beautiful, Sarah. And I was just sort of overwhelmed really to get it. It was just such a lovely, lovely thing. And like I say, it arrived on my actual birthday, and yeah, it was such a special treat. So that was lovely. But it didn't stop there. I know. I'm so spoiled. So yesterday, if you watch Sally at Flossie Sews and Grows, you will have already seen that she and I and Hazel, the amazing Hazel, who is Hazelnut Crafts on Instagram. She doesn't have a Flosstube. But if you've been to Stitch in London, you will certainly have met Hazel. And you may have met her at other retreats and things as well around the country. So Hazel lives about halfway between me and Sally. So we had been talking for ages about trying to meet up. And yesterday we finally did. And so Hazel, if you ever meet Hazel, you don't go away empty-handed. So she brought various things for Sally and I. And I'm going to talk you through my little haul. So there was this bag, obviously in pinks, and beautifully hand quilted. So I love how you make these bags. She watches The Last Homely House as well as, which I do as well. And Kate on The Last Homely House had showed how you make these. And you essentially just make a square, a quilted square, and then you fold it up into an envelope shape and add, what do you call these? Straps. To sort of fold it in together so you can fold it up like that. So it's a really lovely thing. You could use it for packaging anything up, really. It'd be a really nice sort of packing thing to just slip a few things in a suitcase, but also really great for stitchy things. And it's just such a fun mashup of fabrics, you know, yeah, all sorts of pretty things. I love this sort of stained glass kind of effect fabric there. So that, obviously it doesn't stop there. Little sort of purse pouch that goes in there that's just really handy for putting little things that you don't want to lose in there. So that came inside it. What else did I get? Oh, I also got this, which is my favorite kind of project minder. Actually, I don't use project bags all that much, but I really love this. You know, it's such a nice size of holder that would easily fit 2 projects in it. So this side, there's a big pocket behind here, and then there's also a pocket, which I struggled with this yesterday as well. There we go. With the vinyl front. So 2 big pockets on that side, another big pocket on this side. Are there 2 pockets on that side as well? I think there's only one. Yeah, another big pocket on that side. But then also a little thread bed, which is detachable by Velcro. So just really great. This kind of thing that for a retreat I find is perfect, really. You can get all your stuff in there. You can have this on the table to collect all your bits, and it all just folds up. I think that's upside down. I think I've been showing you upside down because this fabric definitely has an upside down and a right side up. So all sorts of fun fabrics on there as well. I love this little mushroom fabric in the middle. I've been to Hazel's house and I know the sort of stash she has of quilting fabrics. She has a lot to choose from, and so, you know, she chose really lovely bright colours for me, and Sally had one that was chicken themed, which is perfect for her, if you know Sally. So that was really lovely, but it didn't stop there, of course not. So she'd stitched both of us a little cushion. And I just love this. Look at that bird. Isn't it the prettiest? And perfect colours for me. I love that pink and aqua and green and bright colours here. And these buttons are from Hazel's grandmother's stash. Now, I don't think she'll mind me saying this. I went to her 70th birthday last year. So Hazel's grandmother, I don't know at what point she got these buttons, but these are old buttons. That she found in her stash and thought were perfect for her. And she's done a little label on the back that she's just stitched on with her name and the date. Yeah, it's super cute, Hayes. I really love it. And it will go perfectly in my little bowl that I am keeping my small pillows in. So thank you for that. That is stitched on linen. Maybe 32 count linen, maybe 28, something like that. But really lovely, really lovely. I love that, those little that sort of flower in the middle of the bird. You know, there's lots of little bits of backstitch on this, and yeah, it's just super cute. I really, really love it. So 2 pillows. I just felt so spoiled. But then, I mean, this was just, I was flabbergasted when I opened this, because Sally had also stitched me something for my birthday. And like Sarah, and I think she and Sarah had been in cahoots about this, discussing what they were going to stitch and, you know, whatever. She also stitched me something from the In Friendship's Way booklet. And I think I'd mentioned when I sent it to her that, you know, there were various things in there that I like. They have both decided that they're going to stitch one of the strawberries from the book in May, because it's a really nice little small, I mean, it's charted in brown. If you're going to, it's got a butterfly on it. I mean, if you're going to do a butterfly, why would you do it in brown? So anyway, they're not going to do it in brown, but they are going to stitch one of that. But for me, this was one of the patterns that I mentioned that I really liked. And look! So it's called Button Box, and she's made it into a box. So in the book, that's how it's finished, is on a box. And I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing anyone's ever made for me, I think. I just love it so much. And she's blinged it up with my colours. It's all stitched in Roxy Floss, and she's chosen, you know, really lovely pinks and greens and purples, and really brightened up the house and the thing there. But also look at the little buttons. There's little hearts and flowers and stars in the buttons. And I mean, it's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. And then she's finished it, and she's got this box which she bought, I think, just from the works. So, you know, not hard to get hold of, but just the right size. And she's sort of varnished it or stained it, and it's got a little bit of a sort of shabby chic look to it, which I kind of love. You know, it looks like you might have found it in an antique store rather than in the works. But then look inside. She's put a little sort of plaque here, again with one of the 50 charms, because it's one of her 50 starts. And what does that say? Sally Richards, made with love by Sally Richards. There we go. So that's so lovely. And then she's also just sort of put a base in there, which is beautifully sort of covered in batting and fabric. So it's got a nice soft base in there. And then a little card as well. I hope this will be a lasting memory of a stitchy fun and friendship, and I really hope so, Sally. I will treasure this. I will absolutely treasure this. I still can't quite believe that you stitched this for me, given everything else that you've got going on in your stitchy life this year. She's put the year of my birth, 1974, and the year that this was stitched in celebration of my 50th birthday. I mean, it's just lovely. It's just stunning. So I haven't completely decided what's going in here. One possibility is I thought I might use it to store my small but growing collection of silk threads. But I also might use it to store some of my small pillows that are sort of on rotation. Might get stored in there. I probably won't use it to store buttons, because one of the things that I do have, when I finally managed to sort out my craft room, there is a tour actually of my craft room from years ago when I was sorting it out then. It's not well filmed, and if you get a tool seasick, don't watch it. But I will show you again at some point when I've tidied it up. My grandparents used to run a shop which sold a whole range of things, but including haberdashery. And the piece of furniture which I have that came from the shop is a button display cabinet. I love it. I love it. It's got a lot of very flat drawers. They're a slightly odd size. I think they're about maybe 10 inches square. They don't fit a piece of A4 paper in, which is slightly annoying. And it's taken a while to work out what I can store in there. But obviously buttons are one of the things you can store in there. And it's from the Glamour Button Company, and it lives in my craft room, and I love it. So I probably won't put buttons in here. It might be a place where I keep some of my sort of trims and things that are part of my finishing stash. I don't know. It will certainly be on display, and I will certainly find something precious to keep in it, because let me just show you that once again. I sort of hope this gets to be my thumbnail rather than anything else that I've made, because it's just glorious. So I just can't believe the Stitchy kindness. Like I say, I'm so grateful to everybody who's wished me a happy birthday, but Sarah and Hazel and Sally, you have made me very, very happy, and I feel very spoiled and loved. So thank you. So I think that is all my Stitchy kindness. I say, oh no, it's not. Well, kind of. I also, one of my friends doesn't really cross stitch these days. I think she used to do cross stitch, but I don't think she does anymore. But she does do crochet, and we sit in quite a lot of meetings together, and very often she will be crocheting in a meeting, which I would typically too if I still could. So I've seen her working on this for a while, and it's crocheted from I think a sheepshear's whirl or something certainly like that, sort of colour changing yarn. And she mostly, I think, was sort of doing it just for, you know, I need to have something to do in meetings. And she started at this end where it's quite sort of dark tealy blue. It's quite, you can see it's very open stitch, which makes it really lovely for this time of year, because you don't want something really thick and warm, but just as an extra layer. So it starts quite dark teal, it gets lighter beautifully, and then it gets into some, oh, is it getting purpley? Is it getting purpley? It's getting quite pink. It's getting quite pink, and you know, keeps going, keeps going. And then I think it was about this point where it starts getting a bit orangey and a bit yellow that she suddenly was like, oh, well, this is clearly for Roz, because these are Roz's colours. And so thank you very much, Amanda. I mean, thank you for everything. I had a lovely birthday dinner. I don't think she watches this really, but I had a lovely birthday dinner with her and some of her family and so on, and lots of, they just recently been on holiday in France, so I also got lots of lovely French cheeses and olives and things like that. But I love this. It's just perfect for me. In fact, I was wearing a dress on that time which was exactly these colours. It had a sort of denim-y background and then turquoise and pink and orange and yellow butterflies on it, and I'm like, I just love it. So so I think that is all my handmade kindness that I have to share, but it's quite a lot and I'm really grateful for it. Right, what I'm going to do at this point, this is the last sort of birthday business to deal with, which is giveaway winners. So basically everybody who actually entered the giveaway is a winner. I've got 11 names of people who used the word birthday and didn't also say, but please don't send me a needle minder, I've got too many. So if you are one of these people, I would love to send you a needle minder from my collection. What I'm going to do is put a Google form in the link, a link to a Google form in the description for this video. And if you're on this list, please go fill in the Google form so that I've got your postal address and I will get these out to you. I am going to be on holiday in Italy for the next week, so I certainly won't be sending that this week. I'm going to aim for another Flosstube in a couple of weeks' time, and please try to fill in the Google form before then. I mean, it's sort of not that time limited. These are not that difficult to post out, but the sooner you fill it in, the sooner you are likely to get your needle minder. So the winners are Helen Stanley 8574, Priscilla White -XE4JU. I really hope that's Cilla Black. It's not Cilla Black, but I love that it's Priscilla White. Elizabeth Aston 4434, Kensington Cross Stitch, Angela Lewis 233, Laura Gasper 1988, Anchor at Wells 7618, RW-TN9VY, Noreen Kennedy 5381, Stitchy Rach 6252, Mad Grandma. Helen Stanley, Priscilla White, Elizabeth Aston, Kensington Cross Stitch Deborah, Angela Lewis, Laura Gasper, Anchoret Wells, RW, I think that's Rebecca, Noreen Kennedy, Stitchy Rach, Mad Grandma. Fill in the Google form. Even if you think I've already got your address, please fill in the Google form. It'll just make it that much easier for me. And you will receive a needle minder selected at random from my collection in the post. Thank you very much for wishing me a happy birthday. Right, Stitchy Kindness giveaway winners. I think I've done some cross stitching. Let me show you what I have been working on. Now, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you will be shocked to see what I've been working on, because this is a project that I've spent the last year saying, oh, I've been working on that a bit. Oh, I haven't been working on that. Oh, there's nothing to see here. I have had a full page finish on my Gecko Rouge. Hooray! So this is Paxton's Tower and Cottage, based on artwork by Dorian Spencer Davis. I will put in a picture of what the whole, oh, in fact, no, I'm just going to show you a picture. This is what it's going to look like. So you can see I've done this bit here. There are, well, it's a little bit deceptive. So there are 24 pages in the pattern, but there are only 15 full-size pages. So there are 15 full-size pages, of which I have done one. There are pages down this end which are only 15 stitches wide, and there are pages along the bottom which are only 1 stitch deep. And so there is one page in the corner which is literally 15 stitches. So I've done that page, and one more that's only 1 row, and one more that's only 15 stitches wide. And now I've finally done one full proper sized page, and I'm really chuffed with it. It is absolutely chock full of mistakes. So I think the cottage is basically in the right place. And most of the sort of stitching that kind of is making discernible shapes is more or less in the right place. There are a lot of stitches in some of these sections that are just sort of anywhere, but it's fine. I've made a decision quite early on that I'm not going to undo every mistake that I might make in this. Oh, and I've just noticed there's a couple of stitches in the bottom row that I need to go back and do. It's quite tricky. The bottom row, for some reason, in Markup RXP, which is what I'm using, hasn't picked up the bottom row at all. And obviously you have to kind of consciously remember to go back and do the bottom row, because I'm sort of doing it along with the other thing. Yeah, there's 3 stitches there that I need to go back and fill in with something. But I think it's fine. I really do. It's beginning to show the fence post here. Obviously it's got the cottage, it's got these seed heads, and you know, in general the colours are in the right sort of place. And I don't think it's the sort of design where it's going to matter for most of those colours. But also I've done a page, you know, I get to start afresh with a new grid on the new page. Hopefully I've improved at doing my full coverage stitching. Part of the issue was I kept forgetting, so it's really annoying, and I don't precisely feel like it needed to be done like this. But anyway, the stitch count is 326 by 220. So 220 going down. Okay, each of the 3 full-size pages going down is 73 stitches, which makes 219, and that's why you've got that 1 extra stitch at the bottom. But what it also means is, and this is where I kept forgetting, the sort of bottom page, it is charted with a sort of 10 stitch grid, but the last section of that on the bottom page is only 9 stitches because it takes us to 219. And I kept forgetting that that wasn't 10 stitches, and so my counting ended up being funny, and that's part of the reason there are so many mistakes in that corner. And partly that's because, having not really done any on it for so long, I just fallen out of the way of that. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry on up this side. I'd like to move up, finish the cottage, move up through the flowers. I need to decide what I'm going to do about the pink sky by the time I get to the top of this. I mean, a lot of that is, yeah, probably I will stitch that. So this is not the fabric that came with the kit. It comes with a gridded white even weave, I think. No, Ada. 18 count Ada is the one that I ordered. You can order different kinds of fabric in your kit. And I had this piece of Razzmatazz 18 count Ada from Roxy Floss Co. And I just thought, you know what, I think that is going to make a really great backing fabric for the final piece. So I'm only stitching 1/1 on this 18 count Ada rather than 2/1. So I'm going to have loads of thread left because I'm sure it's kitted for 2/1. And what it does, it just means that though the coverage is not like really super intense, the fabric color that's coming through is actually unifying the whole thing. So I don't think you really notice the pinkish tinge there, but as I'm looking at it, particularly on the cottage, there is a sort of pinkish tinge coming through, and it's sort of coming through all over. And I think it's just really adding a lovely sort of feel that's unifying the whole thing. And I think by the time I get to the sky, and I'm sort of wondering, maybe, I was sort of thinking maybe I won't stitch sky. I think I will, but I might only do half cross stitch in the sky. And again, allow the pinkness of the fabric to sort of come through and help blend all of that together. So we'll see. Anyway, I spent just over a week stitching only on this, and it was really addictive. I'd forgotten that when I got into it, actually, I do really love this stitch. You know, it is really confetti in places, but I've just find it really fun. It's like stitching an enormous sort of Sudoku puzzle or something. I don't know. I love it. I love the way it builds up the design. I mean, trying to do it from a paper chart, I think would be horrendous, but you know, I use our markup RXB. Yeah, I just find it really fun. It is slow. I do about 100 stitches in an hour, unless I'm doing, like when I was doing the cottage and I had some actual chunks, then that was a bit quicker. But in general, about 100 stitches an hour. It's not super quick. Each page is 4,600 stitches approximately. So, you know, that's 46 hours. It's not quick. And I think what I've worked out, my original plan, I started this on my 49th birthday, and the plan was that it would be finished while I was still 50. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm really loving stitching on it now. I don't know that that will be the only thing I want to stitch for the next 12 months. And even if it were, you know, I won't normally have the amount of time that I have to give to it right now. So I'm aiming for a page a month. I've got 14 more full-size pages to go, plus a few little bits around the edges. So it won't be far off, I think, this time next year, but it may not be quite finished. It may be, because it may be that I get near the end and I'm just like, I'm just going to go for it. But I'm not going to hold myself to that, I think, and that's fine. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I was really chuffed that my sort of thread storage system survived the months of being ignored, and you know, these are still very usable. I didn't plait, I plaited some of these, but I didn't plait all of them. But the plastic things have really held up. I put the stickers on. In one or two places, the stickers have come slightly loose. I think that may have been where I had the great tea spillage disaster. But anyway, I was able to sort of retrieve all of the bits. I think it was mostly on the green one. Yeah, and so this one here, for example, came off, but I was able to just get some PVA and glue that back on. So that's all worked fine, and I keep that in this project bag that I made from, it was a sample block from a quilt that I am technically making. I say technically, it's not had a lot of love for a while. That is also a sabbatical plan in May. I'm going to try and, there's one quilt that I want to finish that's very easy. There's about, I can't remember. I mean, I think in terms of the quilt blocks for that one, they'll be done in an hour or two. I need to work out what I'm going to do for the backing. I think I'm going to do a pieced back, but, you know, with quite big pieces. And then I'd like to get on and finish that. The Union Jack quilt, I'd like to get back to it, but the blocks do take a long time. And it's, you know, it's quite precise. It's all cut out, but it is quite a palaver. So we'll see. Anyway, so that's mostly what I've been stitching on. Two other things. I finished my quarter of my chart for the Ink Circles round robin that I'm part of. I don't think I took a bit. So I've got a picture. That's not quite completed my section. I don't think I did take a picture before I sent that off to the next person, but I sent that off to the next person in the round robin, so I don't have to do any more stitching on that. So I'm kind of counting that as a finish, although, you know, it's not finished. And I've received the one that I'm going to stitch on next, which I'll show you in a minute in plans. But I have got one other thing that I did do some stitching on, which I now can't find. And it's very important. Here we go. It's very important that you see this, because you'll see just how much progress I have made. There we go. Can you see what it is yet? Can you see what it is yet? I don't even know if that's the right... Yeah, no, it is the right way up. This tiny, tiny pathetic chart, I'm going to do some more on this later today. And it's not a big chart, and I'm not even going to do all of it. This is Il Pleut. Oh, I think it's got a... I always call it Il Pleut, but I think it has got a slightly longer name than that. Let me just see if I can find it. Cross-stitch charts. To-do. It's definitely in the to-do file. Il pleut fois fouille. Okay, I don't know what that means. Anyway, il pleut fois fouille. And I have not got the name of the chart. Oh, here we are. Marie-Thérèse Saint-Aubin. Pour la fouille. So maybe fouille is like the book or the collection or whatever. I think the chart maybe is just called Il pleut. It's raining, so it's going to be an umbrella. This is one, this is a freebie chart. I'll put the link below. You can download it from Casa Sanina, maybe other places as well, I'm not sure, but you can get this for free. So Sarah at one point was mentioning that she had a little collection of umbrella charts, and so I said, well, have you seen this freebie? And she added it to her list of 50 starts for her 50th year, and started it last week, and she has finished it. And I'm like, oh, I'll start that along with you, and I've done that. I am stitching this on 46 count linen from Megan Coffee Craft, so it does take a little while. I'm stitching it obviously with one strand over two on 46 count. Yeah, but it's it's one of those sort of, I haven't got a finished photo of it, but it's one of those sort of French, very delicate, very hinted at designs. So the umbrella itself, there's another bit here, and then it's really just outlined, and the handle. There is some French writing in the back. Il pleut sur les ardoises, sur les basses-cours, sur les framboises. Framboise, the only word I recognise in that, and I'm... Raspberries or strawberries? Fraise and framboise. I think framboise, I'm going to say raspberries, but it might be strawberries. And sur something I can't read because it's hidden behind the umbrella. So I think I'm not probably going to do all that. I might just stitch Il pleut, and that'll do for me. So I probably can finish this evening. So that's my, you know, work in progress. I don't like to have lots of works in progress. Obviously the Gecko Rouge is in progress, but it's, you know, I've done my page for April. I'm not counting it as in progress right now. So the other thing I've got then, which is technically in progress, is this. Just a Girl Who Loves Dragons. I love that bag, I must admit. It's printed on both sides, which I think is right. I don't know where it's from. This was sent to me in the Ink Circles round robin from Lizzie, this Mrs. Fisher's Stitches. She's the person who sends to me. I send to somebody else, and there's 4 of us all together, Kath and Claire, who are not on YouTube but are on Instagram. And so she has done her first part of this. I don't know whether she sent me a picture. Yes, she has, because she's very organized about these things. So this is the chart that she has chosen. This is Ink Circles Elemental Dragons Water, and you can see it's a monochromatic design, but she has chosen to stitch it in 2 colors, and so she sent her chart highlighted so that we know which bits are in which color. We're not always having to check it from her. She's chosen really beautiful colors. Let me show you. And it all comes really beautifully organized. So this is hand-dyed pure spun silk. Wow. Oh, this is from Paintbox Threads. Look at that really lovely floss drop as well. So this is, I mean, this feels so beautiful. This is silk, obviously, and then the other thread that we're using comes in this sweet little tin. I love that you've got such lovely sort of accompanying bits and pieces. This is a variegated floss. I don't know what this is, but look at those lovely aquas and blues and greens. I think if you go and check out Lizzie's videos, she will tell you what thread that is. So we're using that sort of dark blue and the aquas and greens, and we've got a working copy and the stitching. So let me show you. I don't know what this is stitched on either. This is clearly a printed fabric because on the back it's white, and it's Ada. Oh, here we are, Lakeside Needlecraft exclusive aquamarine. There you go, printed on the thing. And that is what her quarter looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? I really like how she's changed it to be a 2-color pattern rather than the monochromatic. And I really like how the sort of background greens have the variegation in them as well as the fabric. I don't know if you can really see, but the fabric is beautifully variegated, sort of aquas and slightly grayer colours, and yeah, just really lovely, sort of adding to the feeling of being in the water. And then I think that really makes the dragons actually stand out much better, and you can see how their tails cross, and then there are the little dragons in the inside. Let me just hold those 2 together, and do you see what I mean? I think Lizzie's interpretation of it I really like. I think it's just yeah, I think it really draws out the elements of the pattern. So I'm not doing a dragon start for the Year of the Dragon stitch along, but I'm really happy to have this chance to stitch on some dragons. I will get to do 2, 3 dragons in my bit, I think. She's done the central motif, which is that little boat. So we won't stitch on that as we send it around, but we'll all do the dragons and the outside bit. I love the round robin stitching. I really love that I don't have to stitch the same thing 4 times. I love that I get to stitch on 4 different charts. And I don't need all of those finishes in my life. I don't need more bits of cross stitch to try and do something with. So, and it's just really fun doing it with other people and seeing their choices. And I'm really looking forward to stitching with that Paintbox silk, which I've never used before. So yeah, so that is a plan. We've given ourselves a very relaxed time frame to finish our round robin in. So we sent around April the 15th, and the next one is in 3 months. So this is due July the 15th, but I'm going to try and finish it in May, and then it's done and ready to move on. So that's fun, and I just enjoy getting all the bits, and I will feel like I'm stitching with Lizzie while I'm stitching on that. So the next plan that I have is not cross stitch. So I mentioned I'm on holiday next week. This is part of it's really the final part of my 50th birthday shenanigans, and the first part that I planned. I have been a couple of times on really, really wonderful holidays in the French Alps run by a company called the Alpine Experience. They have ski chalets, which obviously they use for skiers in the winter, and in the summer they run craft courses. They get tutors in usually, and you know, I did one which was a textile arts kind of week, and we spent time, you know, splashing paint around and you know, cutting things up and stitching. And I made a couple of things. I made a little book, textile book, and I made a big wall hanging that I love, and it was just really fun play time. And the other one that I went on there was a bring your own week. So they just started trialing some weeks that are obviously slightly cheaper because you don't have a tutor to pay for, and you could take whatever work you wanted to do while you were there, and that was really lovely. Anyway, for 2024 they announced a new venture that they're doing, which is running these same kind of craft holidays in different locations. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And there's one in Tuscany. And I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Tuscany. And that would be lovely. And that's, you know, just a couple of weeks after. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm flying in to Pisa. My flight gets in very early. So I've got a morning that I can spend in Pisa. Maybe, you know, go and look at the tower probably and have some delicious Italian pastries. I hope they sell sfogliatelle in Pisa. Those are my favourite. Anyway, then you get picked up from the airport, driven to the villa where we're staying. It looks absolutely gorgeous. There's a pool, there's, you know, a sort of terrace to sit on, just beautiful views. And that's where we will spend most of the week with the tutors, a lady called Kate Barlow. I once did a sort of half-day course with her a few years ago, and she was lovely. And the couple who run the company, Nadine and Mark, will be there and be our hostesses, and they just look after you. And what I love about that so much, they are the most restful holidays because you do not have to think about anything. Once you're picked up at the airport, they are in charge, and they're just great. They're so great. The food will be delicious. The accommodation will be lovely. You know, I just trust them completely to sort out a lovely, lovely holiday for me. We get to spend a day in Florence, where I imagine there'll be freedom to do whatever we want, but also Nadine will come with us. Usually she would come with us on those sort of trips, and you know, I know she's been doing research into where are all the haberdashery shops that people will want to go to and that sort of thing. And you know, if we want to have lunch together, she'll have good ideas about where we do that. And but you know, also freedom if you want to go and pot around yourself. So I just think it's going to be glorious. So I'm going to show you what I am going to be working on, because we were sent a sort of list of kits that were available that we could choose to work on during the week from Kate, who's running it. And I've chosen this, the little 17th century stork. I love the colours of it. I love the sort of expression on the stork's face. And the techniques are ones that I would love to do or do again and do better. So we've got I'll read you the thing, little 17th century stork. This little stork has been inspired by a beautiful pair of embroidered 17th century gauntlet gloves. He has worked on silk floss on a silk Duchess satin ground and stands on a hillock of blue laid work surrounded by silk flowers, gilt tendrils and gilt cutwork leaves. Tiny spangles are added for extra sparkle before adding a frame of looped couching and cutwork corner decorations. So the silk shading, which is what I did in the class that I did before with Kate. Kate has a very special thing, what's the word I'm looking for? A sort of unique achievement, I suppose. She was the first ever textile artist to get her work in the Royal Academy Summer Exhibition, which is quite a feat. I think she didn't quite realise at the time when she entered it that there had never been one before. But she had done a thing of a parrot, maybe, and it was absolutely stunning, and that was exhibited in the summer exhibition. So she really knows what she's doing with this sort of colour work, the silk shading. And then the laid work, so it's kind of like couching. You lay the blue strands flat, and then it gets stitched down to hold it in place. But then there is a lot of what's traditionally called gold work, although it's not necessarily gold. Some of what we've been sent is gold, and some of it I think is not, and some of it is gilt, obviously. And so working with the metallic threads, again, I've done a little bit of it before, but not a lot, and I think I'd really enjoy doing that. I sort of just love how this frame is not rectangular. There's a lot of things about this design that I just think are really fun. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I don't anticipate finishing that in the week. I might. It's not huge. The actual design is really not huge, but also it's very detailed, very precise work. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's what I'm going to be working on next week. I am going to take some cross stitches. I think I might take Lizzie's dragon piece with me. And if I want to work on something different, then I've got that I can get on with. So I think that's all my stitching plans. Big announcement time. Ba, 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 sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. Drum roll, all of that. It will not be a huge surprise if you watched my previous video or if you've been following me on Instagram. I am going to launch a Patreon. I told you I was thinking about it. I have been thinking about it, and I am going to do it. And I'm very, very excited about it. And I hope you will be as well. So here's what it is. The link will be below. There's nothing to see there at this point. It is all going to go live on May the 1st. I hope it is. I'm going to be in the middle of Italy on May the 1st. Hopefully I will have internet and it will all be fine. I mean, all the posts on Patreon itself are just set up and scheduled, and so they will be there. So it's just a question of making sure that I'm around to announce it on Instagram and Facebook and places like that. And I might do a little YouTube short just to remind you that it's there. But essentially you should be able to just click on that link on May the 1st, probably not quite at midnight, but you know, by the morning of May the 1st, and it will all be there. And you'll see that there's a welcome post that's public, and then everything else is set so that you can see it if you are a free member. So you do not have to sign up to pay anything, but you do have to sign up for the free membership just to see. Obviously, if you hate it, you can leave. It's fine. But everything is there at the free level for this first month. If you then pay and become a paid member, you can still see the free content, hopefully. It's sort of, I couldn't work out how to set something that was for free and paid members, weirdly. So what you will see is the same post but repeated. It just means that you may not see the comments if people have left comments. If you then become a paid member, you won't see the free post that may or may not have comments on it. Anyway, I may be able to work out how to do that, but I couldn't. So I think that's probably how it will look by the time you get there. But you will still see all the content. So don't feel like, oh, I'll pay, but then I won't be able to see anything. You will be able to see everything. So what you'll see is the welcome post explains a little bit about what's going to be on the Patreon, the different kinds of membership, free membership. There's a sort of the basic paid membership that's $1 a month, and then there's 2 membership tiers. I can't remember now what I ended up with in terms of pricing, but even the highest tier is less than $10 a month. They are the yellow tier, the cyan tier, and the magenta tier, which I quite enjoyed. And so yeah, yellow members, the big bonus from being a yellow member compared to a free member is that you will have access to the community section. So there's a place where we can have chats, essentially set it up like a forum, you know, chats about different topics and polls, and you know, share your projects, or you know, ask your questions or ideas or whatever. So if you're interested in becoming part of the community, which is really the sort of main motivator for me of moving some of what I want to do onto Patreon, is that community aspect, then do think about whether you want to become a yellow member. You won't have access to everything that I post there as a yellow member, but you will have, you know, a certain amount of content will be at that level. But also the big bonus is that you'll be part of the community and the chat. The cyan tier, a little bit more, so you'll get every month at the cyan tier, you'll either get a cross stitch small, or you'll get some kind of video tutorial. You'll get posts about finishing ideas and inspiration and those sorts of things. You might get, and at the yellow tier as well, you might get this printable download. So, well, I'll tell you in a minute what's available in the first month, but various things that you get at the cyan tier. And then the magenta tier, you get everything, which will include every month a cross-stitch chart and some kind of video. It may not be a tutorial video, but some kind of video content, plus blog posts full of inspirational ideas and links and resources and all of that jazz. Plus, I should have said this at the cyan tier as well. So at the cyan tier, there's a shop you can have on Patreon. You don't have to set up shop, but I have set up shop. It's got all my cross-stitch charts that are in my Etsy shop, are currently in my Patreon shop as well. If you are at the cyan tier, you will be able to download any of those that are smalls for free. Any of my back catalogue that is a small chart will be available to you for free. And then the ones that you get month by month, every other month, there'll be another one added to that you'll be able to access for free. And if you're in the magenta tier, you'll be able to get any of my charts for free, whatever size they are. And you will have at least one new chart every month at that level. But the other thing to say is, again, certainly if you're in the yellow tier, but I think even if you're a free member, you can access the shop, which is the cheapest place to get any of my cross-stitch charts. It's all just a little bit cheaper than Etsy. There's a minimum price you can set, which is $3. So my £2 charts on Etsy, I do my pricing in pounds, and in Patreon it's in dollars, and I don't know how to change it. I think that's right. I think £2 is more than $3. Certainly by the time, if you're in the UK, you've had to pay VAT on top of that. So I think the cheapest place for for anyone to get my charts will be Patreon. And you can do that. I think you can do that as a free member. You can certainly do that as a yellow tier member for just $1 a month. So there's the shop. There's the community. Obviously, if you're cyan and magenta tiers, you will also have access to the community, as well as the yellow tier, not free members, I'm afraid. The other thing at the magenta tier that I plan to do is have, and this is not every month, but like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, a Zoom hangout exclusively for magenta members. So that'll be quite fun, I think. And I've got some ideas about what we might do with that. In the community, one thing I'd love to start doing is kind of challenges. Yeah, I'm going to talk about one of those in May or maybe June. Anyway, I've got one coming up that I think will be quite a fun sort of creative challenge for anyone who wants to participate in that. And then there will be posts. So this is what I've set up that's going to go live on May the 1st. And it's a sort of, the aim is to give you a sort of idea of what a typical month might include. And on each post, I've put an indication of what tier that would normally be available to. So you can see, okay, I love this, so I definitely want to make sure I'm in that tier. Or, well, actually, I don't really care that much about that, so probably I only need to be in this tier, or whatever. So this month, and there may be more coming, but this is what I've put, and I think is a reasonable goal for me to aim for every month in terms of content. So there is a video. It's quite a long video. It's an hour and a quarter. And it's a video of me making a project. I'm not going to tell you what project it is. You'll have to go and find out on May the 1st. With enough instruction, I think, that you could follow it yourself. But it's not absolutely just a tutorial video. It's a sort of stitch with me kind of video. But there is information there. And I think you could certainly have a go at that project based on that. There is a blog post which has some of the links that I used for researching that and some interesting things to go and find out more about the project that I'm doing. There is a colouring page that you can download and print out based on that project. I love colouring, and as soon as I finish this project, I'm like, well, that's a colouring page. So that is hand drawn, although digitally retouched by me. And that's something that will be, sometimes that'll be, that sort of printable will be restricted to maybe the cyan tier or sometimes to the yellow tier, but sometimes maybe available free. I do plan there to be something every month that is available to free members. Yeah, that's a goal really. There won't always be something that's uniquely to yellow members, because the real benefit of the yellow membership is the community. There'll always be something that's just for cyan and something that's just for magenta, and something that is free. That's the goal. So there are those three things that are all sort of related to that one project. And then there's the cross stitch chart, which is free. So even if that's all you want, go and join up for free membership, get the cross stitch chart that's free this month, and then leave if you just think, yeah, this really isn't for me. Yeah, the cross stitch chart is not particularly related this month to the other content, but some months it will be. Some months everything will be, you know, related by a particular theme, and other months nothing will be related by a particular theme. You know, that will just be as it comes and as I have got time and inspiration. I really hope that some of you will check out the Patreon content and be like, yeah, this is something I want to sign up for. It won't be for everybody, and that is fine. You may think, yeah, I'm happy to sign up as a free member because I know I sometimes want to buy Roz's cross stitch charts, and that'll be a good way for me to do that. You might want to sign up as a yellow member just because you want to come and be part of the chats, and that's great. You know, there are benefits of, and I sort of hope I've set the levels so that everyone thinks, yeah, no, there's something there that works for me. But I'd really love any feedback that you have. I've been trying to do some research, checking out other people's Patreons. This is not the same as a sort of cross-stitch designer big name Patreon. It's not a Teresa Koga. It's not a Hello from Liz Matthews. It's not cross-stitch focused, although there will be some cross-stitch content every month. It's really a way that I want to share my whole creative life with you, and hope that that's something that you'd like to be a spectator of or a participant in, that you'd like to be inspired by to go off and do your own things, or follow along to do some of the things with me. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But I am really excited about it, and I'm really excited to have it launching May the 1st. I don't know whether you can go and sign up beforehand and take that leap of faith. Maybe you can. But anyway, all the content is set to appear on May the 1st. And I certainly wouldn't pay anything. Just a heads up, don't pay anything in April, because you will be charged for a whole month and there will be no content at all. So if you plan to join me, particularly at a paid level, do wait until May, and then you'll have the whole month free. Everyone will have that. All of those posts from May will always be free as a sort of try before you buy, as well as small amounts of free content every month following. So I think that's everything I had to talk about. If you're a giveaway winner, please fill in the Google form. Yeah, I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. And if not before, I will see you on Flosstube in a couple of weeks' time. These are never going on Patreon. And but I might see you before that on Patreon. Hope to see you there. Bye.